illegally. So that's a complete false narrative.
I think the number is 88%.
Yeah.
So that would mean, just to be completely clear, as a math question, if you capped bed space at the threshold they're calling for, by definition, you'd be releasing criminals into the population.
That's correct. Right now, if you do the math, immediately, if this bill passed, they would have to probably release about 8,000 individuals, criminal aliens. And it's not the crime of illegally entering. This is crimes in addition to that.
So what percentage of those show back up for their hearings, would you say?
Minuscule.
None.
Right.
The number is 3%, we checked. And I think those people wandered in by accident. So basically, you're suspending the rule of law for a large group of people who've been charged with or convicted of crime.
That's right. You're reducing the bed space. Illegal immigration is increasing. The numbers will show that. And so more people are going to be released into the interior United States, and they're telling ICE they can't enforce that and actually go and get them. What we've created here is a sanctuary country. That's where we're headed.
So is there any sheriff's organization, border patrol organization, law enforcement organization that supports this idea?
I don't know of one.
So where did this come from? And what's the point of it? I mean, what would be the goal of this?
The goal, and this has been tough for me to get to, and I don't say this with ease, but this is pure identity politics. I can draw no other conclusion from this last-minute stunt that it's insane, Tucker. So it's got to be driven by identity politics, and I really think the ultimate goal is open borders.
It seems that way. Mr. Morgan, thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Tucker.
So here's a question. If it's wise to cap the number of illegal immigrants our government can detain, why not cap the number of American citizens we can detain as well? There are over 2 million of them now in prison. Univision anchor Enrique Acevedo supports this plan, and he joins us to explain. Enrique, thanks very much for coming on. So let me just start with that question, which Acevedo supports if we're saying that it's somehow immoral, and he joins us to explain. Enrique, thanks very much for coming on. So let me just start with that. Why is it not immoral to hold more than a certain number of American citizens?
Well, Tucker, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but not to their own facts.
So let me just start with not immoral to hold more than a certain number of American citizens.
Is on the rise here in the U.S. Tucker, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but not to their own facts.
So let me just start with not immoral to hold more than a certain number of American citizens.
Is on the rise here in the U.S. Tucker reported since 2000, and we have a dramatic decrease in the number of undocumented immigrants coming to the U.S.
How many illegal aliens are in the country now? Do you know?
Let's just have, there are different estimates. You say 22 million.
So anywhere between 12 and 22 million.
Which is the number we've had, we were working for the last 50 years.
But hold on, before we even progress into the details, just thematically, why, if it's a good idea to cap the number of illegals we can hold, and 88%, as you just heard, DHS number, have been charged with a different crime, okay, not entering. Why shouldn't we do the same for American citizens? Why are we letting illegals live by a more lenient standard?
I think, though, about those who are proposing this idea. I think it's important to realize what ICE does and what it doesn't. It's not Border Patrol. It's not in charge of border enforcement. ICE's mission is to fight dangerous criminals in the U.S., like gangs, MS-13, and many other gangs. Their job is not to go to courthouses, for example, like they've been going to in New York, a 1,700% increase since 2016, to prosecute and basically go after families that are trying to,
I'm sorry, I don't think you started by saying that
legal system.
So nobody is entitled to his own facts. Hold on. I asked you two questions. You didn't answer either one, but I want to press you on this fact, which is that 88% of the illegal aliens that ICE is currently holding have been charged with or convicted of a separate criminal act, not entering the country illegally, but
for example,
crime.
The vast majority of them, or driving without licenses, because
by the way, I don't know if that's true, but I don't
give.
Is that okay?
Licenses to undocumented immigrants.
Okay. So DUI. So we're not going to punish people for DUI now because it's racist. I mean, what are you saying?
Sanction.
Okay, but hold on. I think all of us would agree that. Are you arguing that DUI is not a serious offense?
No,
people die from DUI all the time.
Okay.
No, not driving without a license. You just said it was overwhelming. No. That's not true. Hold on. It's not true. Address the fact that the overwhelming majority of people held by ICE right now have been convicted of or charged with an actual crime, as you would say.
But
why would we let them out?
Would you characterize those as violent, dangerous crimes?
I would characterize DUI as
society.
Yes, I would characterize DUI as a very serious crime. It's very common, as you know, for people here illegally to be arrested for it. But you're saying we shouldn't hold them. We hold Americans, but we shouldn't hold illegals because why? It's a simple question.
I'm not saying we should not hold illegals like you're saying, Tucker. What I'm saying is ICE should go back and focus on its original mission. Go after dangerous criminals.
But
not
if 88%
going after families, after immigrants, like I said, that are going to a court and are going through a process,
but you're not addressing
which is trying to legalize their stay in this country. You ask people to do it the right way, and when they show up at court, you have ICE agents dressed as civilians going after them.
Well, I'm sure that ICE has done things you don't like, but you're ignoring. Hold on, you're ignoring that if this were to become the law, if the bed space for interior ICE detainees were capped at 16,500, that we would over time release thousands of people convicted of or charged with real crimes. Why would we want that?
Your guest also said that the vast majority of them never show up to their court dates. Do you have the actual number?
Yeah, I have the number. Actually, I'm glad you asked. 97% do not show up for their court date. 97%.
That's not true. You know, just last week, ICE was making up court dates in San Francisco. There were lines outside courthouses of people who had a court date, and they came in and they said,
"Okay, so that's the 3%.
I'm showing up for my court date," and there was no appointment, no record of that.
I'm giving you the freshest number we have, which is 97% disappear into the interior, and because they're illegals, it's like immoral to be upset about it. But I am an American, and I am upset about it, and I think that's fair. Enrique, thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
Well, the Democrats who are writing the Green New Deal don't seem to know what's in it. We pointed out what they had said is in it, and they called us liars. But who was lying? We'll have the tape after the break.
Tucker Carlson is brought to you by non-drowsy 24-hour Claritin. Live Claritin Clear.
Allergies with sinus congestion and pressure? You won't find relief here. Go to the pharmacy counter for powerful Claritin D. While the leading allergy spray only relieves 6 symptoms, Claritin D relieves 8, including sinus congestion and pressure. Claritin D relieves more.
Keith and Melissa lived next to Melissa's parents. And when it was clear living 30 feet away had to change to living 3,000 miles away, they made the right move and called Pods. So did their not-so-new neighbors.
Mom?
Pods, the right move for your move.
Looks like you're not sleeping well.
How did you know? Megan!
Hey, you're that guy.
The My Pillow guy.
That's right, and I'm here to help you get the best sleep of your lives. Oh, you have a down pillow. Here's the problem with down pillows. You lay there, you feel comfortable, and guess what? It goes down, and you got one bent neck. So this pillow's no good, and I see you sleeping on memory foam.
Right.
Well, I'll show you what's wrong with that idea.
Okay.
Sleep's all about too high or too low, and I'm going to show you where your comfort level would be.
So, you know, that feels better.
Right, that's better, but I'm not going to sit and hold this all day. So every morning you're getting up like, you know, it's not good. Just like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and none of them worked. That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck aligned. My Pillow will hold its shape all night long, regardless of your sleep position, for the best sleep of your life. Call now or go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code on your screen to save over 50% on one of my best offers ever.
It feels great to wake up in the morning and feel well rested. It's shocking to me that a pillow could make this big of a difference in my life.
I make all my pillows in my home state of Minnesota, and I back them with my 60-day money-back guarantee. My Pillow has a 10-year warranty, and it's machine washable and dryable. Sleep is one of the most important things to your health, and My Pillow is one of the most important things to your sleep.
Call or go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code and save over 50% with Mike's 4-pack. You'll get 2 My Pillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. It's one of his best offers ever.
You're sleeping better.
Much better.
I knew you would.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome to Fox Nation, an exclusive streaming service designed for the Fox News superfan.
The great thing about Fox Nation, you can always get us 24/7, 365.
You get things that your average viewer does not get.
I'd like to hear more. Fox Nation is the place to go to do that.
It's members-only content you won't see anywhere else.
And that's why people come to us. They trust us, they believe us, and they know that we're giving it to them straight.
Start your free trial now. Fox Nation, opinion done right.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus, every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7, Channel 115.
Men, want to get your edge back after 40? With more energy, drive, performance. Do what the Big Hurt Frank Thomas did.
You look lean, Frank. What gives?
After 40, men slow down. It's harder to stay in shape.
Why?
Our free testosterone levels drop. It happened to me, and then I found Nugenix Total T.
New Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone. From the brand that brought you GNC's #1 vitality product, Nugenix Total T helps provide even more energy, performance, testosterone, and muscle-boosting ingredients for even better results. To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text BASH to 369-369.
You'll feel like a new man on the field and off the field.
I gotta try Nugenix Total T.
Text BASH to 369-369 now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. That's BASH to 369-369.
A couple of days ago, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made the most basic mistake you can make in Washington. She said what she really thinks. In a fact sheet describing her proposed Green New Deal, Ocasio-Cortez's office wrote that her plan would send federal money to people who are, quote, unwilling to work. Now, that line drew some notice and some criticism, though in fact it's not entirely shocking. Sending tax dollars to people who don't feel like working has been a central tenet of the Democratic program for a long time. But there's a difference between supporting something and stating it clearly out loud. And that was Ocasio-Cortez's sin. She said it out loud. Shh, said her superiors in the party. And Democrats immediately began pretending that it never happened. Fast forward to last Friday, we interviewed a man called Robert Hockett. He's been advising Ocasio-Cortez on the Green New Deal. Now, Hockett is a professor who occupies an endowed chair at Cornell Law School. Even if you're not overly impressed by credentials, and we're definitely not, that seemed like a reasonable job description, like he'd be a legitimate person. He's an Ivy League law professor. He must be sort of serious, not the kind of guy who would tell obvious lies on live television. That was our thinking anyway. So we asked him, why is the U.S. government thinking about, or one of the members of Congress are pushing, taxpayers to send money to people who don't want to work? And here was his response.
We never would, right? And AOC has never said anything like that, right? I think you're referring to some sort of document that some doctored document that somebody other than us has been circulating. No, I'm not embarrassed. It's just not us. It's not embarrassing. No, Tucker. No, Tucker. No. We're not embarrassed by what's not ours. No, Tucker. We're not embarrassed by what's not ours. Okay. We want to clarify that it's not ours.
And we did get to the bottom of it. So in case that exchange confused you, the professor's position was simple. Ocasio-Cortez never suggested the government ought to pay people who won't work. That's just absurd. Another right-wing lie. Well, various progressive news organizations with air quotes around it picked up that interview. See, they said, Fox News got fact-checked. Even Ocasio-Cortez herself suggested as much on Twitter. The only problem, Professor Hockett was lying. So was Ocasio-Cortez. She has indeed called for subsidies to those, quote, unwilling to work. We did not make that up. We didn't make any of it up, including the part about banning fossil fuels in 12 years. Ocasio-Cortez said that, too. So go back to another exchange we had with the professor. Here it is.
There's nothing about getting rid of anything. It's about expanding menu options, right? I mean, there are many, many things we want to be able to do now in addition to what we already do. So where's the airplane disappearance coming from? I'm not really clear on where that originates.
Well, so what you're saying is we're not getting rid of fossil fuels actually, even though you just simply were. Because
no, we're rendering them obsolete for most purposes they're used for now, right?
But air travel is a huge source,
hence the word most.
Well, Ocasio-Cortez's staff has since removed the fact sheet entirely from our office website, and they're telling the rest of us to read the actual resolution. It's like a scavenger hunt. Okay, so we did that. We read the actual resolution, and it turns out there's no substantive difference between the two. Ocasio-Cortez's resolution, the official one, which is right here, guarantees economic security to, quote, all the people of the United States, end quote, whether they want to work or not. It also calls for free education and rebuilding, quote, all existing buildings in the country, and a lot of other things. Now, under normal circumstances, sober people would laugh at a proposal like this. It doesn't even make sense. They would also, by the way, question Ocasio-Cortez's fitness for moral judgment of any kind. Keep in mind that she won her primary in New York with an openly racist campaign. Openly racist. She attacked her opponent for the color of his skin. That's the definition of a racist campaign. But whatever. Ocasio-Cortez has 3 million Twitter followers now. Democrats have to take her seriously. Watch poor Chris Murphy, the senator from Connecticut, over the weekend, pretend these ideas make imminent sense.
I think it's absolutely realistic, and I frankly think we need to set our sights high. I think there were a lot of people who said that it wasn't realistic for the United States to get a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s when President Kennedy initially outlined that goal, but we did it.
Realistic. Is that really the word? Rashad Ritchie is the Liberal radio host and a former political director for the Democratic Party in the state of Georgia, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Ritchie, thanks very much for coming on. So it's pretty clear, it's not pretty clear, it's absolutely clear that Ocasio-Cortez's office said this, that the Green New Deal ought to provide for people whether or not they're willing to work. Why did they lie about it? Why not just say this is what we believe?
I think a mistake happened here, Tucker, and you're not telling the full story. The full story, according to reports from her office and others, is that this was a published document. The professor was wrong. It was not a fraudulent document, but it was a published document that should have never been out there. And they retracted the document immediately. Also, major presidential candidates, they have not endorsed that provision in the document. They've said, basically, hey, we didn't know about that part. We're not endorsing that part. And this is the Green New Deal, not the Green New Bill. This is not a policy. This is more so of a conversation starter, not a bill or a law proposal.
Well, I mean, part of what you said, I think, is absolutely right. It's a conversation starter, which, by the way, I appreciate. I mean, I like conversations, even if they're far out. I don't know why they're trying to run from the conversation, which is what they're doing. So here's what the new version that her office has referred us to and said, you've got to pay attention to this. It says that it will provide all the people of the United States with high quality health care, adequate housing, economic security, clean water. I mean, there's no caveat in there that you would have to work for what you get. People who are unwilling to work would get the same. So they're endorsing the same idea. So I'm missing it here. What we said was right.
I don't see that, Tucker. Yeah, first of all, I would tell them or challenge them to define economic security. I don't take the terminology economic security to mean that if you don't work, you still get paid the same salary as somebody who does work. I would say, first off, let's define what economic security actually means, because you may have a different standard of definition than I would have.
Well,
so
sure.
that term needs to be
that's fair,
explored.
But, okay, but it's money from the government. You're getting money from the government even if you don't feel like working. And I think even, for example, under the original New Deal, FDR, who no one thought was a right-winger, you didn't get anything for nothing. I mean, the Civilian Conservation Corps, people worked for the money they got. WPA, same thing. I mean, FDR believed that there ought to be a direct relationship between work and reward, and that it was decadent and destructive to give people stuff for nothing. But Ocasio-Cortez does not think that.
Yeah, this is a small provision or a small part of this proposal.
Okay.
I personally believe if you don't work, you don't eat. Now, we're talking about folks that are able, folks that have the ability, folks that have the means to do so. So I agree with you on that point. So I concede to that. But at the same time, Tucker, the terminology economic security must be defined before we can properly debate it.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this. They're touchy on the question of eliminating fossil fuels, because that is radical. And obviously the energy sector is the strongest part of our economy. It's 10 million jobs at least. And if you got rid of that overnight, it would be really disruptive. It would make the country poor, actually. So here's Ocasio-Cortez. Quote, there's no debate as to whether we should continue producing fossil fuels. There's no debate. We should not, she said. That's pretty clear. She said that in October. Why are they running from that?
They shouldn't run from it. I think it's a good conversation to have. Here's the bottom line, Tucker. Fossil fuels burned creates carbon. Carbon is bad. Carbon is bad for the atmosphere, it's bad for the water, and it's bad for our breathing. Every single scientist on this planet would agree. So any conversation that suggests an implementation to lower actual carbon emissions is a good conversation to have. There is no mistaking that she, Congresswoman Cortez, represents a more progressive wing of the Democratic movement. But it is a legitimate conversation when we're discussing environment.
I'm sorry to get the last word, but I don't think it's progressive to tell me I can't have cars and airplanes. It sounds like medieval.
I don't think that's not what's being said here, Tucker.
Okay.
That you can't have cars and airplanes. Understand it is a conversation starter.
All right. Thank you. Rashad, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So what exactly is in the Green New Deal, or do we have to pass it to find out? Mark Stein is paying close attention to this. He joins us tonight. Mark, what do you make of the Green New Deal?
Well, actually, just to pick up on Rashad's point, if you accept that carbon is bad, and I don't particularly, there's a contradiction between the Green New Deal and open borders, which the Democrats are also committed to, because the average person in the Western world has a carbon footprint 30 times the size of everyone, of somebody in, say, Somalia. So instead of moving everyone from Somalia to Minnesota, we would be better off actually moving everyone in Minnesota to Somalia. And I certainly hope that is in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's next draft of her Green New Deal.
I just want to point out to our viewers what you're watching on the screen, I don't know if you can see it, Mark, is the president arriving in El Paso, Texas for an event scheduled, I think, at the bottom of this hour. So, but that's, I mean, you just point out, Mark Stein, a really, I think, important contradiction in this whole worldview, which is you're not going to have a cleaner country with open borders, not because immigrants are inherently dirty. I'm not saying that, but because overcrowded countries are dirty countries, period, always.
Well, and they don't think about the way these things piece together. Now, the disappointment for me in what happened with your guest on Friday night, for example, is that I disagree with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but she's 29 years old, and I thought she was sincere and idealistic and earnest. She's been in Washington for 2 weeks. I think she took her seat just a couple of weeks ago, and she's already become one of these sleazy operators whose minders are finding out, are fanning out and denying reality, and saying that she didn't misspoke. She deplores this campaign spreading false stories. She's become, in effect, the governor of Virginia, withdrawing things he's actually said and done.
That's totally true.
The fact is, this draft sat on her website for 2 days, I believe, until I think it was NPR who were first to report it. Obviously, it's a first draft. When she says she's in favor of remaking every building in America, that's the first draft. The second draft says that while every building in America is being remodeled, we're all going to be moved into tent cities in Californian towns to live in while she's remodeling all our homes. I'm disappointed that she's not sufficiently idealistic to stand by the plain utopian nonsense of her original proposal.
I think it's a really fair point, and I would I would respect that. She should be more direct. That's right. People give you credit for that. No, it's totally fair. Mark Stein, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Tucker.
Journalists are lining up to protect Jeff Bezos, Bezos Bear, as some have called them, founder of Amazon.com, owner of the Washington Post. He's being defended by the Fourth Estate. Fascinating. Why? We'll tell you after the break. Plus, the president speaks in El Paso, Texas any moment. We're monitoring the rally. Obviously, we'll go to it when he begins.
My experience with USA Air has been excellent. They really appreciate the military family, and it really shows.
With all that USAA offers, why go with anybody else? We know their rates are good. We know that they're always going to take care of us.
It was an instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
It was funny because when we would call another insurance company, they would say, oh, we can't be USAA.
We're the Weber family.
We're the Tennies.
We're the Hells, and we're USAA members for life.
Get your USAA auto insurance quote today.
How do you see the world? At Shriners Hospitals for Children,
we know that changing how you see things
can turn them into
everyday miracles.
Like riding my bike,
breaking boards, swimming, playing soccer, hugging my mom.
Every day for over 90 years, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been sending love to the rescue, regardless of a family's ability to pay.
But this life-changing care is only possible because of support of people like you.
When you visit loveshriners.org and give just 63 cents a day, you're showing that you care.
Will you join us in helping children in need?
When you call today, we will send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of how you are helping a kid like me.
Your gift can change a child's life forever.
Because everybody Everybody. Everybody. Everyone could use a miracle.
Your gift, no matter how small, can help a child like Catherine today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Thank you for giving.
If operators are busy, please call again or give right away at loveshiners.org. Your call says you care.
I lost 25 pounds on Jenny Craig.
From a top diet 9 years straight comes Rapid Results by Jenny Craig. Lose up to 16 pounds in just 4 weeks with food you love. Eat 6 times a day with no prepping or cooking.
You have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner ready to go. It's all laid out for you.
So you can get on with your day and watch the pounds melt off.
Man up, give them a call.
We've extended our sale. Get 85% off our premium program. Plus, get $120 in free food.
My reputation was trashed online. I felt completely helpless. My entire career and business were in jeopardy. I called Reputation Defender. They were able to restore my good name. If you're under attack, I recommend calling Reputation Defender. And consider joining their groundbreaking campaign to give every American the right to remove old, inaccurate search results by going to righttobeforgotten.org.
If you have search results that are wrong or unfair, call Reputation Defender at 1-877-492-6705.
The sheet reinvented, ridiculously soft. Chic's Performance Sheets, delivering the ultimate deep sleep experience.
If technical fabrics can improve athletic performance, why can't we apply that same concept to sheets?
Traditional cotton sheets trap heat and moisture, but Chic's patented fabrics transfer heat 2 times more effectively, breathe nearly 50% better, and wick moisture.
You sweat a little bit every single night, and Chic's will help keep you cool.
Chic's are wrinkle-free, have stay-fit corners, and best of all, Chic's feel ridiculously soft.
They're so much softer than any other sheet I've ever had.
Every time you climb into bed, you'll experience the Chic's sensation. Call or go to trychic's.com now to order your Chic's Performance Sheet Set. You'll get 25% off when you use the promo code on your screen, plus 2 additional pillowcases at no cost. Act now to get free shipping. Sleep on Chic's for 30 nights, and if you're not satisfied, we'll give you a full refund. Go online and see how Chic's deliver the ultimate deep sleep experience.
The governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, is fighting to save his political career after that famous Klan photo and blackface were discovered on his med school yearbook page. The governor is saying that he will atone for what he has done by reading Ta-Nehisi Coates' essays and doing network television interviews. Fox News' Trace Gallagher has been following the story since the beginning. Trace?
Hi, Tucker. Because Governor Northam has refused to resign, he is now trying to save his political career by embarking on an apology tour. But now the tour itself is generating controversy because on CBS This Morning with Gayle King, Northam said this. Watch.
Well, it has been a difficult week. And you know, if you look at Virginia's history, we're now at the 400-year anniversary. Just 90 miles from here in 1619, the first indentured servants from Africa landed on our shores in Old Point Comfort, what we call now Fort Monroe. And while
also known as slavery.
Yes.
Yeah, the Virginia Republican Party quickly criticized the governor's comments. Quote, is the governor so tone deaf on racism that he can't even use the word slave? He has no moral authority to lead any healing process. Social media was also quick to pounce. Quote, words like indentured servant is how people try to erase the pain and horrors of slavery. It is how they think it is harmless to wear blackface. Ralph Northam is done. But others defended the governor. Quote, folks, learn your damn history. Northam is correct. First black Africans brought to Virginia in 1619 were indentured servants. Gayle King is wrong. And while historians debate the degree of accuracy, most agree that Northam's statement wasn't totally wrong or offensive. Governor Northam has also acknowledged on CBS that he thought about resigning, but now believes he can take his state to the next level. Watch.
Right now, Virginia needs someone that can heal. There's no better person to do that than a doctor. Virginia also needs someone who is strong, who has empathy, who has courage, and who has a moral compass. And that's why I'm not going anywhere.
But Northam said if the sexual assault allegations against his lieutenant governor, Justin Fairfax, are true, Fairfax would have no option but to resign. Tucker.
Trace Gallagher. Appreciate it. Thank you. So imagine you're a successful public figure. At the age of 55, you hit a severe midlife crisis, so severe that you suddenly decide to leave your wife and 4 kids for another woman. Then you get so carried away with your new mistress that you text her pictures of your genitals, and then those pictures wind up in the hands of a tabloid. Whoa, nightmare. What happens next? Do the media attack you as a pathetic old creep, maybe even a harasser? Do they Me Too you? Or do journalists instead rally to your defense? Well, that all depends on how rich you are. Luckily for him, Jeff Bezos is very rich, the richest man in the world, in fact. And when you're as rich as Jeff Bezos is, there is no such thing as bad press coverage. There is only slobbering. Bob Woodward sucked up first. Woodward is the most famous journalist in America. He once took down a president with the unsparing toughness of his reporting. According to Axios, here's what Bob Woodward wrote to Jeff Bezos after Bezos' crotch shots became public. Quote, "Jeff, proud of you for stepping forward in such a difficult situation. Very gutsy and definitely right. This period reminds me of 1972 to 1974, perhaps Watergate redux. So many assaults on constitutional government, common sense and privacy. Let's hope we all get it right. Aggressive but careful and fair. Cheers, and best, Bob Woodward." So that's the new Woodward standard. If you criticize Jeff Bezos, you're like Richard Nixon during Watergate, an assaulter of constitutional government. You're un-American, in fact. Max Boot agrees with that. Boot is another of Bezos' employees at the Washington Post, and of course a florid toady. Boot wrote a column defending Bezos' nude selfies. The headline was, "Jeff Bezos stands his ground." Stands his ground, like Joshua Chamberlain at the Battle of Little Round Top. May our grandchildren revere his memory and speak his name. But for pure unctuousness, no one went further than New York Times technology columnist Kara Swisher. Swisher has been sucking up to billionaires since before the guys who run Uber were even born. If flattering the powerful was an Olympic event, Kara Swisher would be Mark Spitz. According to Swisher, Bezos' behavior since he left his wife and kids for his mistress has been, quote, admirable, a, quote, heroic moment from, quote, the most important tech visionary since Steve Jobs. It goes on like this, pornographically, for an entire column. At one point, this is the best, Swisher frets that Jeff Bezos' privacy has been violated by the National Enquirer, which, by the way, is true. But tellingly, she didn't spend a lot of time worrying about whether America's privacy has been violated by Jeff Bezos. And that seemed like a worthwhile question to ask. Glenn Greenwald has been thinking about it a lot recently, and he joins us tonight. So that was the first thing. Let me just say clearly, I totally disapprove of what the National Enquirer did to Jeff Bezos. I do. But it does raise the question, what is Amazon doing to the rest of us?
Yeah, I wish we were a society that left consensual adult sex to the people engaged in them and had no interest in them, and let that be between them and their spouses or whoever is in their personal lives. But that's all the reason why we should value privacy. I spent a lot of years as a journalist defending that value, and one of the companies that poses the greatest threat to it is Amazon. It's a major source of Jeff Bezos' wealth and power. And, you know, we think of Amazon through their branding that it's a place we buy our books from or download our Kindle from. In fact, their main business is working with the security state agencies to build huge apparatuses of the surveillance state that invade our privacy in ways far more severe than what the National Enquirer just did to Jeff Bezos. And that's a part of the story that's so ironic, beyond the fact that Amazon is notorious for abusing its workers, something that all the people that you just named would ordinarily find quite upsetting.
That's so interesting. I don't know enough about this. So will you quickly summarize? A big part of their business is not selling toothpaste, which is what I use it for, but helping the national security state gather information on citizens?
Right. Before he bought the Washington Post, Amazon had a $500 million contract with the CIA to provide cloud services. They are now using artificial intelligence to build a product called Recognition that's designed to use facial recognition software to identify by the thousands. So wherever you go, you can be identified by software that the government is using, that Amazon is building. They're using security systems around people's perimeters of their houses and then making it available to huge numbers of people so they can see who's coming and leaving your house, who's inside of your house. The list goes on and on of the products that Amazon is building and profiting from way more than books that are direct threats to our privacy that are critical components of the surveillance state.
Really quick, why do I never read that story?
It's because Silicon Valley is more powerful in Washington than Wall Street is. It's because Silicon Valley now controls huge parts of the media, and the last thing people in the media want to do is cover Silicon Valley critically. So the power of Google and Facebook and Amazon is probably one of the most important stories in the world, and also one of the most undercovered because of how powerful they are in the media world.
Glenn Greenwald, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Well, a Democratic presidential candidate accused of abusing her staff, a Hollywood actor caught on camera berating his personal driver. All people who preach compassion barking at those beneath them. What's that about? We'll explain.
Everyone's got to listen to Mom. When it comes to reducing the sugar in your family's diet, Coke, Dr. Pepper, and Pepsi hear you, and we're working together to do just that, bringing you more great-tasting beverages with less sugar or no sugar at all, smaller portion sizes, clear calorie labels, and reminders to think balance. Because we know Mom wants what's best. More beverage choices, smaller portions, less sugar. BalanceUS.org.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus Power Max Gels. Concentrated power, 25% smaller pill. Max your cold relief with Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Rachel and Bill moved to a simpler life. But simple got complicated. Luckily, they moved and stored with Pods, who brought back just enough for their new addition. Pods, the right move for your move.
You should be mad they gave this guy a promotion. You should be mad at forced camaraderie. And you should be mad at tech that makes things worse. But you're not mad, because you have E-Trade, whose tech makes life easier by automatically adding technical patterns on charts and helping you understand what they mean. Don't get mad. Get E-Trade's simplified technical analysis.
It's my turn to make history. Start your engine! Bang, bang, won't stop till we're legend.
The Daytona 500 coverage begins Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
The President's rally in El Paso as he speaks out on America's security and what's next for our border. Sean has live coverage of the critical speech tonight on Hannity.
So you like to cook. And you're curious about meal kits. But don't know where to start. All you have to do is... Oh, you're already done. For as low as $50 a week, get fresh ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes delivered weekly. Visit homechef.com for $30 off your first order.
Frank Thomas, a.k.a. the Big Hurt, used to keep pretty busy on the baseball field. But now, he's busier than ever.
After I turned 40, it wasn't easy to keep up. Everything changed. My energy, my drive. Then I found Nugenix Total T.
New Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone. To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text STOCK to 321321.
Nugenix helped me feel better. I feel stronger. I have more energy.
I have the energy and the stamina and the strength. It makes me feel awesome.
From the brand that brought you GNC's #1 vitality product, new Nugenix Total T helps provide even more energy, performance, testosterone, and muscle-boosting ingredients for even better results.
With Nugenix Total T, 40 was just another number.
Text STOCK to 321321 now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. That's STOCK to 321321.
Thank you so much.
New purple, eh, Deb?
He's always wanted to try one.
Well, they have a 100-night trial, so...
This President's Day, choose a free Purple product with mattress purchase at purple.com/TV.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar announced her candidacy for president at a rally over the weekend. The media gushed over the prospect of that, of course. One group that seemed a little less excited about a Klobuchar presidency is her former staff. They described Amy Klobuchar as a cruel and terrible boss. Former staffers told reporters that Klobuchar publicly berates employees in group emails and uses epithets to describe them. Some former staffers said Klobuchar forced them to perform bizarre personal duties like washing her dishes or picking up her dry cleaning. That's not in the job description. Klobuchar's reputation for mistreating staff is so widespread that at least 3 prospective campaign managers refused to work for her. When ABC News confronted Klobuchar with these allegations, she essentially admitted it. She said, quote, "I am tough. I push people. That's true." So let's see. Here you have a person who routinely claims to care far more than you do about other people, and yet the people she's actually in charge of, she mistreats. Sound like anyone you know? It does. Just about every progressive activist you've ever met. They're all that way. They love humanity, but they despise human beings. Robert De Niro's like that. Just last week, he was caught berating his driver outside a courthouse in Manhattan. Watch.
Where are you? Where the are you, man? You're supposed to be right in front when you dropped us. I don't care if they chase you away. You tell me off. What's the matter with you? Where are you? You're not in front. You're not where you dropped us off.
I mean, everybody has a bad day, but let's be honest, that's pretty strange behavior for someone whose entire political philosophy is built on the idea that he's a decent person and you're not. But also, as we noted, it's very common, if not universal, on the activist left. Progressives volunteer less, they give less money to charity, they leave smaller tips, and as we've seen, they tend to yell at the people who work for them. Maybe that's why they're constantly lecturing you about your moral deficiencies. It's projection. We've got a news alert for you. Out of Capitol Hill tonight, the shutdown negotiators say they have an agreement on Capitol Hill that will avoid shutting down the federal government once more. And hopefully, Senator Shelby, I'm just getting this right in my ear as I'm speaking, Senator Shelby of Alabama has said they have an agreement he believes the president will sign. That's all we know at this hour, 8:46 p.m. But of course, we will report the news the second it reaches us. President delivering a speech tonight at the border in El Paso. That's the backdrop in front of which these negotiations are unfolding. We will bring you the latest when we come back.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Ready to treat differently with a pill? Otezla. Show more of you.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life.
They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and free shipping. That's right, 30% off and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Soft. Softer. And the world's softest ever. Introducing the world's softest pajamas from Pajamagram this Valentine's Day. What makes these pajamas the world's softest? The fleece lining is carefully brushed, which makes it both soft and warm, while the knit on the outside is silky smooth. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas look and feel, and so will you. You can order these pajamas now in time for Valentine's Day, and every package comes already wrapped, so you don't have to do another thing. And when she's happy, you're happy too. So go ahead and spoil her. Guys, give your Valentine the gift that keeps on giving: softness, comfort, and relaxation. Call or go online now at Pajamagram.com to order the world's softest pajamas today. Every order comes with free gift packaging and a personalized gift card. Delivery is guaranteed by Valentine's Day, so order now at Pajamagram.com.
Classic American landmarks, brand new adventures.
Welcome to What Made America Great.
Brian Kilmeade's acclaimed series returns with untold stories from our country's most iconic places. New episodes of What Made America Great coming February 14th on Fox Nation. Start your free trial today.
This is a Fox News Alert. You're looking at live pictures from El Paso, Texas, right on the border. The president will take the stage there at any moment. Immigration expected to be a major focus of his speech tonight. In the State of the Union last week, the president suggested there ought to be more legal immigration to this country. That's a shift from his campaign speeches. He said after we need more workers, and immigration is a way to get them. Orrin Cass studies this question. He's a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, author of the book The Once and Future Worker, and a very smart man. He joins us tonight. Does the United States need more guest workers?
No, I don't think we do.
Everyone in Washington thinks we do.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce and lobbyists for corporations think we do because it benefits them if they don't have to find a way to make do with the workers we already have here.
So what are we know we hear a lot about the positive effects of guest workers. What are the negative effects on this country?
Well, the negative effect is that it relieves pressure on the labor market and on employers to figure out a way to build businesses that actually make do with the workers we have here. And it says, you know, if you have an idea for a business and it's one that you'd rather just bring someone else in for, it doesn't even have to be a citizen. We'll bring someone in, you use them, and you send them away, and we're not going to worry about what happens to the workers who actually live here.
So companies used to care about the quality of American schools because that's where their labor force was educated. People care much less about public schools. Do you think that's one of the reasons?
It could be. There's a famous saying from a guy named Max Frisch who studied this in Germany. He said, you know, we wanted workers, but we got people.
Yeah.
And it's just this idea of we're not going to actually think about our economy as being about the people who live here and need to support themselves here. We're just going to think about it as a way to make more stuff cheaper. And that can work out well in the short term, but it can be a real mistake in the long run.
Has it ever worked in a country you're aware of long term well for the country?
There have been times when it's worked. You know, we had a big program in the 50s and 60s that we tried to bring in a lot of Mexican farm workers.
Yeah,
a lot of folks actually trace that back to, in a sense, the start of the legal immigration problem, because we brought folks here, we assumed they'd all leave, and guess what? Some of them thought they'd rather stay here.
Yeah, and the work they did has since been automated.
Some of it has, and there's this idea that, that's work that Americans won't do, but in fact, almost every category of work, farm workers included, most of the people doing that work are Americans. So I think we actually need to put a little bit more pressure on employers to say, you know what, why don't you find a way to make this work with people we have here and invest in making Americans more productive so it's good for business and good for workers.
Yeah, what you said qualifies as radical in Washington, but it seems so non-radical and so obvious to me. Orrin Cass, one of the few people saying that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The president will take the stage in El Paso, Texas, as we said, any minute now. Tonight's rally a few blocks from the U.S.-Mexico border. Michael Anton served in the White House. He's the author of the book After the Flight 93 Election, and he joins us here on the set. Michael Anton, thank you very much for joining us. I have to ask you about this book, which I have right here. After the Flight 93, you wrote the famous essay framing the last election, the 2016 election, in these kind of broad and powerful terms. It changed people's minds. What's your conclusion in this book?
My conclusion in this book is people criticized me and said, okay, maybe you made a good case for why doom was coming, but you never gave us your positive case for the future. What is America supposed to look like? What do you actually want to see? So I said, I have that. I just, in a short essay in the middle of a campaign, I didn't put everything I know in it. So I was asked to republish the Flight 93 election, and I said I'd be happy to do that, but I want to add some new material at the beginning to say this is what we should be fighting for. This is the America that we're at risk of losing, that we need to be fighting for, why it's good, why the older American principles are sound, and we need to return to them as part of going forward toward a better future for our people. Some of that also means we need to go back to a better way of understanding politics, common citizenship, an elite that cares about the people, that is, you've criticized, and I completely agree with your criticism, that they're mercenaries. They don't really care about what's happening to the people in the country nearly as much as they should, if at all. We need to go back to that. So in some ways, the way forward is a way back, and I try to sketch that in the new material.
But in 2019, anything back is immoral.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why do the people in charge tell us constantly that anything that happened before is wrong and we shouldn't learn from it or know about it? All we should do is be ashamed of it. Why do you think they say that?
Because they don't want to change course at all. Because they're benefiting from the current system. They like it. They know that a lot of people are unhappy with it. That's what the 2016 election was all about. And they want to just tamp down that justified, some of it is anger, some of it's uneasiness, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of justified discontent, and they want to tamp that down and say, illegitimate. If you disagree with, if you don't like any aspect of the current system, it just means you're bad and racist is evil, and you want to go back to, segregation and so on. And so the only way we can do it is to keep doing exactly what we're doing now, and if you disagree, you're bad.
How long do you think they can do? I mean, you can yell at your kids and boss them around, but then they turn 18 and they can do whatever they want, and then they hate you. Do our leaders understand that, or do they think this can go on forever?
I think they think it can go on forever. I don't believe it can go on forever, because one of the points that I make in the book is I believe there is nature. Nature poses limits to human beings and to what we can accomplish. And what we're seeing now is this project is bumping up against natural limits.
Yes.
And they're starting to find that they can't do everything that they want to do. I mean, a great example, which you've talked about a lot in the last couple of days, is the Green New Deal program. Leave aside everything else you want to say about the Green New Deal program. I just don't think it's within the realm of possibility in the laws of physics that they can find some way to get rid of all fossil fuels and not make the country dramatically.
Okay, you know how you know when someone's a bigot in 2019 when he appeals to this physics thing?
Yeah, it's just nature is just going to say no.
Gravity,
we don't know how to do this.
I don't believe in any of that spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Anton, great to see you.
Thank you.
And congrats on the book.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the Congress, Democrats in the Congress anyway, would like to cap the number of illegal immigrants the government can detain. Is that a good idea? We're going to ask Richard Goodstein, who served, as you know, as an advisor to Bill Clinton. He joins us tonight. So, Richard, I tried to get the answer to this from Enrique Acevedo. He wasn't honest enough to even acknowledge my question. But if we're going to say that the government can only hold a certain number of illegal aliens, why don't we make the same allowance, the same liberal allowance for American citizens?
Yeah, I really can't address that. The news is that there's an agreement in principle.
That's right.
So somehow or other, Republicans and Democrats have had a meeting of the minds on this issue, right? Even since you've been on the air. And I would say the news is that the sign behind Donald Trump, finish the wall.
Right.
He's a fabulist. Every expert will tell you there is no wall to finish. There are barriers, and we should reinforce them. And Democrats are for beds to basically house people who are true national security threats. okay? But not moms and dads who have been in the community for 30 years, go to church, pay taxes, have kids who are Americans. Those people shouldn't be in those beds.
Well, I guess it depends on whether they commit crimes or not, right? So if 88%, I mean, moms and dads commit crimes, lots of American moms and dads are languishing in jail. They're separated from their kids, but nobody cares because they're just Americans. They can just shut up and die. But why shouldn't we arrest and detain anyone who commits a crime?
Yeah. So
we do that with Americans.
As to the percentage of people that ICE has detained who have committed crimes, I'm looking at Reason, the libertarian magazine. October of 2018 says 58% have not been convicted, not basically been convicted of a crime at all. Right?
Right. No. The 88%, according to the DHS numbers out today, 88% have been either convicted of or charged with. And typically you detain, especially if it's a non-citizen who's a flight risk, you detain people until you either convict or acquit them, right? So 88% of crimes not related to their immigration status, that's a lot.
Yeah, but I think what the Democrats were trying to do, and we'll see what comes out of this negotiation, was basically say, let's go after national security threats, okay? The mom who basically engaged in some speeding violation is not that and shouldn't be taking up a bed for somebody who's, look, if we have another shutdown, border agents aren't being paid. DE agents, the FBI, who's prosecuting MS-13.
I'm not arguing for a shutdown. I just want the country to be safe. It looks like we're out of time. We're going to go to this rally. Richard Goodstein,
thank you.
You're being preempted by the president. Gosh. That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. The show that's the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. Obviously, DVR it if you can figure that out. Good night from Washington. Sean is in New York as we await the rally on the border.
And I can hear you tonight, which is an amazing improvement.
Good, yes.